From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi.
As Corey Clark.
QB, but I won't stop now.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? Coming up on today's show on Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Renegade Express, taking all the questions from our valued subscribers on Warchant.com's Tribal Council. Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Daily lunch specials, $8.99, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. Wednesdays, we have a quasi-Cuban. Pressed ham and Swiss sandwich, grilled caramelized ham, topped with melted Swiss, pressed and toasted. Served with horsey sauce and pickles. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, cptallybar.com is a website, or you can always pull out that phone of yours, get the camera app open, take a photo. That QR code takes you right to the website. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, top floor. Cannot miss it. Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. Thumbs up, subscribe. YouTube, subscribe. iTunes, podcast app, whatever they call it on the iOS devices. Big time game this weekend. Thanks for being here. Hope you have happy Thanksgiving coming up, everybody. Corey saved me. I'm talking too much. I'm already tongue-tied. We got like an hour more to go, probably.
Man,
How are you?
This is essentially live. We're recording this thing so late. You early risers, you're basically listening to us fresh off the dome, like it just happened. Yeah. I should put it. We should mention that Corner Pocket will actually. I think I've mentioned this before. Yes. They'll actually be open Thanksgiving night. Mm-hmm. So again, if you're in town, I think they open at 5 or 6. Gonna have a limited menu, but you don't always go to Corner Pocket for the great food. But yeah, and there's good football on Thursday night. There's some intriguing games, NFL and college. So if you're looking for something to do to get out of the house before the big game on Friday, you want to get like a tailgating big night before a game feel, Corner Pocket might be the place to be on Thursday night. Get away from the family for a little bit. We all know they drive you crazy.
Big time game Thursday. Lane Kiffin swan song at Ole Miss, most likely.
That's right.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I mean, the way he trolled that reporter, he can't do it now almost. I mean, he'd look like a complete fool if he did it now.
What if he announces on Saturday he's going? Because the tweet was that he's going to step down Friday. So if he steps down Saturday, I think he'll be like, well, hey.
Yeah. He'll probably have that guy announce it, knowing Lane. Like he'll go on that guy's show to announce it.
All right, let's get to it. We do have families to get to. Well, at least Corey does. I got to drive. I got a bunch of asphalt to get on.
Well,
Sam?
You're going to your mom, right?
Yeah, I'm driving.
That counts as family?
Yeah, well, you know.
I know. You haven't created your own yet.
I appreciate
There's still
it.
time. There's still time, man.
You're such a nice guy sometimes, Corey. But then you're really mean to me sometimes, too, so it all evens out. Sam MH and Teacher Noel basically want to talk about Anthony Richardson. Sam MH says, wake up! What's our best chance to stop Richardson? I suspect they will struggle to run up the middle if we can clamp down Richardson's run game. And outside of Richardson, who or what is your biggest concern about Florida, says Teacher Noel.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a good offensive line in general. And just, and he's the most competent quarterback they've faced in well over a month. And, yeah, man, I think that there's that. The offense worries you a little bit. Richardson worries you. And I brought this up on headlines, Aslan, like, as well as Florida State's played, and they've played really well, name the 4 best quarterbacks you think Florida State has faced this year. I'm putting you on the spot.
Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
DJ Uyunglele.
Okay.
Sam Hartman.
All right.
And
I'll throw Malik Cunningham out there for you.
Okay, thank you.
All of those teams, save for Jaden Daniels in his first game at LSU, all scored over 30 points against this defense.
Oh.
The point being, as well, maybe what did Wake end up with? Didn't they end up with 31?
No, they held them under, right? It was in 28. Because
it might have been. I thought they kicked a field goal there to make it 31 to put the game away. I could be wrong, but either way, they scored over 28.
31-21. Sorry,
I nailed it. And then Louisville scored what?
Oh, don't put me on the spot like that.
I thought you were looking at the results. I thought it was right there at your fingertips.
I just Googled Wake Forest FSU.
Oh, my fault. Yeah. So anyway, I threw that stat out there, not knowing the answer. But yeah, so that's what worries me is they faced 4 in my opinion, 4 competent quarterbacks this year, and all 4 scored in the neighborhood of 30 points against him.
Oh, man.
Daniel scored 23, but that was his first game. The last 3, Hartman, DJ, who I think is worse than Anthony Richardson, and Malik Cunningham all put up 30. So that's all. That concerns me a little bit because you haven't stopped a good quarterback yet. But you can. This is a different defense. And against 2 of those, against the last 3 of those guys, you didn't have Fabian Lovett.
I wish I had known that before I made my game prediction on the Warchant report. I was drunk AF on Kool-Aid on my pick. That's they 31 from Louisville.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a while ago. That was October.
Yeah, but again, they also
September.
didn't have Fabian Lovett. They're playing much better than they did during that stretch where they played DJ and Hartman and even Cunningham for that matter. But that's just they've looked great against bad offenses. Bad offenses with either backup quarterbacks or not good quarterbacks or injured quarterbacks. This is a guy that's trying to play his way into the NFL draft. He is big, he's strong, he's supremely talented. He's not great, but he's very, very talented. So that worries you. There's the wild card of him just playing out of his mind. Yeah. And you not being used to playing a quarterback quite like this. But even if he plays well, like you wouldn't, even if they score 30, Aslan, even if they make that magic number, if Florida scores 30, right on that number, they should lose. Because Florida State should have more than 30 points.
Well said. Yeah, I mean,
the
best chance of stopping him is just to get home with 4. Like Fabian and Coop, which Adam Fuller, check out the interview after practice Tuesday. It was really complimentary about just how unheralded they are. Nationally, I know we all appreciate Fabian because we didn't have him for a few games, but just the way they're able to collapse the pocket so often and not let, the shape of the pocket take hold is just – it's been really consistent the way they've been able to play. So if Jared Verse can get home and Fabian and Robert can muck up the middle, that's the best way to stop this guy. Because, even if they force him in the 3rd and longs and stuff, I mean, I don't know if they mix in some zone, Corey, so they're not having their back to him, the cornerbacks and things. But I don't know. I think Jamie is much more Anthony Richardson is much larger than Jamie, but Jamie's physical enough, I think. And Akeem's good for a missed tackle every now and then, it feels like, in a big-time situation. But he does take good angles. I mean, he knows how to chop a guy down. So tackle him well, get home with your 4 dudes, and, I think they're covering well enough. I know he threw for 400 yards against Vanderbilt, but what I saw against Vanderbilt and what I saw against South Carolina, I credit that mainly to just sloppy play, not so much him being fantastic. But he is talented, man. Adam Fuller said he's like a third baseman throwing the football. It's effortless, but, he'll be running around for his life, hopefully. Let's slow him down that way.
There you go.
Noel Boyo, too. Hey, Aslan and Corey, wake up. I don't hate a lot of things in this world, but I hate the Florida Gators. My question involves crowds. 2011 Oklahoma, 98 Florida, excluding those. What game would you compare, I guess, what we assume the stadium is going to be like on Friday?
Yeah, man. Let's see it. Let me see what it looks like first. I mean, I think there's a really good chance it's going to be electric, like, 14 Notre Dame electric.
Oh, no. Maybe 2021 Notre Dame.
Well, I am of the opinion that the people that care about this program love this football team and would love to show them how much they love this football team. It's given them joy again. It's made Saturdays fun. Well, I guess Saturdays and Sundays and Fridays with this schedule. But I think they really do want to come out and show how much they've enjoyed this season because they've been lost in the wilderness for so long. So to me, that's why it even feels different than it feels bigger than 21 Notre Dame. It just feels like this because this team has earned it. 2021 Notre Dame coming off that awful 2020 season. It got juiced up when Mackenzie Milton came in the game and started making throws, but I think this will have a feel of that, just the anticipation and the hype to celebrate this team. Probably not on the 14 Notre Dame level. Let's say I don't know, man. I really don't know. 16 Florida?
Yeah. Maybe that. I mean, I know what you're saying. 14, you were living and dying on every snap because it meant chasing another national title. That's not on the line here. And Notre Dame 2021, I understand what you're saying. You're coming off that year you did. You're going to this game thinking you're going to win. We don't necessarily think we were going to win last year against Notre Dame. It was just like, let's go out there and play hard and show that we've grown. But this game is like, man, we're all going to Tallahassee to watch Florida State thump Florida. So there is going to be like a rabid sort of tinge to the night. But yeah, probably like 16 Florida. I mean, not to be a total cop-out, but listen, man, circumstances matter. It also is the Friday after Thanksgiving, too. We're all going to be having a little bit of itis still. Carbs still sitting in us.
Oh, you can't think that. Well, the what's that in the turkey that the tryptophan or whatever it is? Yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, we'll see how the crowd looks. You'll get a firsthand look at it throughout the game. I'll be atop the Hotel Indigo. Pre-game show starts at 4:30. Doors open at 4. Come join us. Hotel Indigo pre-game show. Warchant Game Day presented by Zaxby's. Zaxby's of Tallahassee. Noel Kurt, 27. Wake up. Interested to see who you think will be back next year. Between Verse, Lovett, Jamie, Akeem, Kalen, Tatum, how many do you think return? I'm thinking it's most likely the first 3 leave. That would be Verse, Fabian, and Jamie. But hopefully we get both linebackers and Dent back. What say you? Go Noles.
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude to the last 3 kids you mentioned, but I don't know where are they leaving for the NFL? Like I don't know that any of look Tatum Bethune he's been a nice player, a very nice player. I don't know that he's an NFL draft pick. Deloach either, or Akeem Dent for that matter. That would be just because you're a multi-year starter at Florida State doesn't mean you should be contemplating leaving for the NFL draft. I think the first 3, I would be surprised if any of those 3 came back. The last 3, I think I would be surprised the opposite.
Okay.
That seem fair?
Yeah,
I think so.
We had Kalen on the Coop Show earlier in the year, and when they were like 3-0, I think, or whatever, and it was like somebody asked about NFL aspiration or something. He was like, "Yeah, we'll see." If somebody asked him how fast he is, you'll see how fast I'll run at Pro Day, and I was like, "What would like Pro Day 2022 or Pro Day 2023?" He's like, "Oh, we'll see how the rest of the season goes." So I think he was probably aiming for the moon in September.
Yeah.
But I think now, like, all right, let me put another year of film because that will help.
I also bring this up a lot, and I know some kids are in a rush to go play in the league. But when you're a fringe guy, and I guess Deloach would be considered a fringe guy. I think he's less than that, honestly. And I mean by like right now, if he's on the NFL radar, that would really surprise me. So I don't mean less than. I mean he could play in the. He could be good enough to play in the league. I don't know, but there is something to be said for it's not just stay in school and get your education. How's about staying in school and getting your food and lodging paid for?
Yeah, you mentioned
instead of going out in the real world and having to do it yourself on who knows if you get a check. Like there's no guarantee you're going to get paid at all if you come back and play at Florida State. Yeah, Kalen Deloach isn't going to get Jordan Travis NIL money, but he'll get some stuff. He'll get a nice little chunk. Plus, he gets a scholarship where his lodging and food are paid for. So that to me seems pretty cool. That's a pretty cool way to live. So I think with guys like that, I just think it would be a mistake because you're gonna be in the real world soon enough, and it's gonna slap you in the face, gang. We've all lived it. It's gonna slap you in the face. You might not have a paycheck in your chosen profession, which for Kalen would be football. If he doesn't make a team, what now? I mean, what now? You don't get to play football anymore, or you can come back, play for what I think will be a top 15 preseason team, and make a run at something special, and get a little chunk of change too, and all the food you can eat, all the honey fried chicken you want. They still serve that at the Fig?
I think so. All
so.
Right. Yeah.
Good.
By the way, speaking of Jordan, I wish you would have texted me as well but you did it afterwards about if anybody asked him if he's going to participate in Senior Day festivities. That would have been a really good question.
So it's odd that you didn't think of that, Aslan. I thought that would have been that's your bag. Yeah. Didn't you ask Fabian about it?
I asked him about accepting the Senior Bowl invite.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I guess we'll all find out soon enough. I would be surprised. if I'm advising Jordan Travis, I wouldn't tip my hand by walking on senior day. I want to leave the door open, get a little negotiation tactic. Like, I'm not going to walk. I'm not going to say that I'm not coming back. I'm not going to walk. I'm still just a junior technically, but I want a reason to come back, gang. But I was talking about this with Ira and Jeff, and I know we got a ton of questions. Just real quick.
Yeah.
They're going to lose the 2 guards.
Right.
There is a chance, and I think a better than not chance, that everybody else on the offense besides Pokey Wilson, Dylan Gibbons, and Demetri Emanuel come back. And I'm talking about Micah, obviously, Trey, Johnny Wilson, Jordan Travis. You think about this offense with another year, with this guy running it, and I mean this guy being Jordan Travis, but also the other guy calling plays, and Alex Atkins getting this offensive line better and better. You are going to be bringing back one of the 5 best offenses in the country, and it's coming back not intact because Gibbons and Emmanuel are important, but you've got a lot of guards and the portal's open too. You go into next season.
They're never going to punt. Like what? Well, how can they get it better?
Thinking like, don't you go into next season thinking, good grief, man, they're going to average 40 points a game. Yeah. What a cool place for Florida State fans to be. Yeah. That's why it's very, very important that 13 comes back, because you do not think that. No matter who you get in the portal or if Rodemaker's the starter, you're not thinking it's going to run like this. It could. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but you know what this thing looks like with Jordan Travis running it.
Yeah. Spartan Noles 71. Aloha, guys. How's it? That's our guy, Ralph, Hawaii. No question. Just wanted to extend a heartfelt wish for your families and the entire Warchant Ohana to have a happy and blessed Thanksgiving. As we think about the things we are most thankful, I pray that we also think about the less fortunate who might be in need this year. Right on, Ralph. Well said.
Amen,
man.
Ralph. What a sentiment.
Yeah. Not sure how the Holiday Bowl is looking, so might be a little bit while till we see you, Ralph. But happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, friend. Random _ John.
Will he come? He'll come next year, maybe to Orlando for the LSU game, and maybe make that a week trip where he's in Orlando and then Tallahassee for the Southern Miss game that Saturday.
All right.
I hope so, Ralph. Make it happen, buddy.
I don't want to look it up though. Is LSU? Is that Labor Day weekend again?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's that Sunday again, and then they play Southern Miss the following Saturday.
Okay. All right. Cool. Random _ John. Good morning, guys. My apologies for not asking a question last week. I was out due to surgery. I'm back now and cleared
That's
again.
not a good enough excuse.
I'm back and cleared to once again ask questions and operate heavy machinery, so let's get to it.
Oh, congrats.
To what do you attribute our offensive line success this year? Did they do more push-ups, get better leg braces? Did Corey ask them a question that got them all fired up like Mike last year? What is it? It's not like Atkins is saying prettier words this year versus previous years. He is not. He is not. I mean, for the last 5 years, our offensive line cannot block anyone. Magically, they're one of the most dominant units on the team. Just how? Support all the sponsors. Subscribe for $10. Happy Thanksgiving. Go Noles. Suck it, Gators.
So he is now a semifinalist for the Broyles Award, too, for the top assistant. I would give it to him. I think they should rename it the Alex Atkins Award for what he's done with this unit. I don't think people outside of Tallahassee or Florida State fans really appreciate what a travesty that position was for so long. And now it's one of the best units in the country. I mean, just production-wise. And look, I think, number one, you got big dudes that transferred in that were the right kind of players. Dylan Gibbons has been a huge, huge part of this team and a huge part of what they've done. He's probably their most consistent lineman. He kind of showed them the way, too. He was a great example for the younger guys. Demetri Emanuel's fit right in. And I think there's something to be said for just getting bigger and better. And Robert Scott, Maurice Smith, Darius Washington have just gotten they haven't had a surgery in 5 months, any of them. That's good news. They've just gotten better. They've gotten better and bigger. I think Maurice Smith was challenged by Caden Lyles coming in. He took that personally, whether he'd say it or not. And Robert Scott and Darius Washington have gotten better. And that's what's supposed to happen. The problem was they had some talent. You could see that, but they were so young and too weak. So they kind of got manhandled when they were thrown into the fire, because most would. Look, the guys that Georgia recruits, they might have a true freshman or a redshirt freshman that can come in and they're so physically dominant they can keep up with college defensive linemen. He didn't. These guys that Florida State was recruiting in 2018, 19, and 20, they weren't fishing from the same lake there. So they don't get linemen like that, the ready-made linemen. They have to develop them. And they've been developed by a very, very good coach. He's so good at I think it's development. I think it's just those guys getting stronger, a full season in the weight room, two full off seasons in the weight room, having some veteran leadership to learn from. These transfers coming in have been great just for the room. And then, Alex Atkins is great at his job.
I mean, Maurice is healthy. That helps. He's playing with a bad back. That's not great when you're a center. I think a lot of it is confidence, just that what Alex Atkins has empowered them with, and the continuity they have, plus just everything working. I mean, even the receivers, just the talent there and the fact that they can be so balanced offensively, you really can't pin your ears back and just get upfield and chase after this quarterback. You have to sell out and try to stop the run sometimes, and then they're going to throw it on you. I mean, I think the fact that they are so unpredictable offensively is keeping defenses can't be nearly as aggressive as they want to be, and this offensive line is accepting that and using that opportunity to be bullies themselves and just put the fight to the defensive line they're going up against. So there's a lot of things in the mix there. I think the health of, obviously, Maurice. I think Corey's point, I think the camaraderie, we've heard about it anytime we've asked any of the guys that have been on the show with Robert Cooper that played on the offensive line. Demetri Emanuel was on the show. I think Robert Scott's been on that show, and they do talk about the camaraderie. And that's one of the segments, right, Corey? If you're going to, you all need to be in it together and have each other's back to the hilt, like offensive line is where it's at. So they've all embraced that, and Dylan Gibbons has also been instrumental in that too. So it's incredible, man, this offensive line. Although we'll see how this 400-pound guy does over poor Maurice. Get low, Maurice. Get low.
I mean, I feel like they're probably run away from him. Yeah. They'll probably have a good strategy to stay away from him.
Island Chief, wake up. Teams that rebound from 3-game skids in football after a losing season the previous year and the year before that rarely look like this. In homage to Ira, 2 questions. Have your opinions on the importance of culture changed? Secondly, we're averaging 35.4 points per game. Will that average be higher or lower after Friday's game? Happy Thanksgiving, safe travels to all, and on Friday, beat the stupid out of the Gators.
Nice. Yeah. I feel like the culture question's probably for you.
Why you say that? Why is it for me?
I mean, I think I've always preached the importance of culture, and I'd always compare it to Leonard's team.
Okay.
And you always you didn't poo-poo it, but you felt like at times you're rolling your eyes.
It's a shield. It's just such a shield, I feel like. How much time do you need for culture? Once you establish everything.
You see it right now. You see how important it is. Right? That's you see how important it is, because this isn't the most talented team we've ever seen. It's not the most talented team Georgia Tech or Miami have played, but it's the one that beat the tar out of them the most. And I think a lot of that just has to do with that word. I just do. I think that word has me feeling much more confident about this thing moving forward than anything else, because I think that culture stays. I think that culture is fixed, and now I think he will be a good enough recruiter to flood that culture with the right type of NFL talent. Let's put it that way. But I just think it's very, very important. Long term.
Yeah, you have to maintain. I mean, that's, Alabama's done, and Kirby's kind of maybe figured it out. And
what Jimbo couldn't, clearly, and what Dabo has. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier to do the Jimbo thing. Like, not easier. I mean, you see a lot more cases of Jimbo. Teams that come up, have a couple really good years, and then kind of slowly dwindle back down. That's why Saban and Kirby and Dabo get all the money, because this is rare what these guys are doing. I think Kirby's certainly in that conversation now.
Yeah, it's part of the mix, and to say, and I'm not, this is, I don't know. I mean, it's ridiculous to say we're just going to get 1% better every day. It's ridiculous to say it's about us and it's not about the other team. It is. And to make people believe that takes something pretty special. Or you need to be, I don't know what other adjective used besides special. But he's figured it out. I mean, the whole trust the process thing. And I'm not I'm it's a backhanded compliment almost. Like this whole trust the process thing. Like I get it. It makes sense. Don't focus on the result. Focus on the process, and everything will take care of itself. I get that, man, but still, like I need to worry about the final result, don't I? And when you can get people to believe that and follow it and execute it, then you start building something. So the fact that they have really kind of hunkered down and rallied around all this stuff, and we don't worry about who it is, we're focusing on us. I mean, they really do believe that. And they practice hard, and they're disciplined, and there's attention to details. I mean, that's all part of culture as well. It's taken hold. I mean, he's been preaching this stuff the whole time. I mean, nothing's changed in terms of the way he's run practice, the way he holds this team accountable. There's also a lot better players here now. They finally have a quarterback, and they believe in him, and he believes in himself. That also helps. But maybe the culture is what helped create some of the confidence. I'm not saying it's no part of it. It is part of it. I probably will never admit how important it really is, because I'm just going to hunker down on that. I usually do come around and admit when I'm wrong on things. But this is one of those things where I'll never fully put my arms around it. But, yes, it's part of the mix. Yes. And
I think that when you look at what you're hoping for in the future, so they're gonna bring in, 25 new guys next year? Hopefully you have a lot of the right guys coming back. In those 25 new guys, 9 of them will be from different schools probably that played somewhere else. You have to ingrain them in the way you do it. And I think what's really starting to be fun about this program and what should take hold is imagine all those offensive guys coming back. And you get 4 or 5 hotshot defensive transfers in here. Well, they got to fit into the Florida State way. Like, there is a way, and I think these players will hold them accountable. I think you're starting to see that. Like, no, this is how we practice. We get up at 5:30 in the morning when the rooster crows. I know you're used to practicing at 2. Playboy, we're practicing at 8. We're up with the sun. But this is how we do it. And I think these guys are starting to take pride in what they're doing. Not starting to, they are. And this is the Florida State way, quote unquote. I just think that it's cool that they can indoctrinate that with these new guys that come in. And you have to adjust to the Florida. You're not going to adjust to the player. The player has to adjust to you. And that's how it will be now. You'll get these guys that come in, and they'll know what they're supposed to be doing. And if they don't play hard, and if they don't practice hard, they will stand out and look like an idiot because everybody else on that field is.
Sports betting's intense enough. You shouldn't have to sweat payouts. MyBookie has a no-strings bonus that lets you cash in and cash out quick. Using the bonus is simple. Bet your deposit amount once, and then you're ready to cash out. No strings attached. Use the promo code WARCHANT. We're back to using WARCHANT. We figured it out, everybody. Thank goodness. And if you use that on a deposit of $50 or more, you could receive up to $200 in cash instantly to your MyBookie account. Hammer the bonus. MyBookie.ag. Promo code WARCHANT so you can focus on what's important Thursday. That's Thanksgiving week and Friday and Saturday as well. Family food, securing the money bag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Line still 9.5 for Florida State. Total points, 58, which we didn't answer the second part of Island Chief's question. 35.4 points per game average. Corey, higher or lower after Friday's game? I think higher. They'll score more than 35.
I think, will they score 36? Because I think if they score 36, the number stays at 35.4. I don't think I think it'll go down. I think it'll go down by 1.1.
1/10.
Yeah, 1/10.
All right.
So I think that probably means they score 30 maybe. I don't know, though, man. There's a part of me that thinks that they could put up mid-40s.
Okay. So do I.
I really do think there's a decent chance that happens. Hey, the starting maybe they play all 4 quarters. The starters, that'd be something. But yeah, I just wonder again. Rivalry games are goofy, and you just hope they don't make mistakes. If they don't make mistakes, I know that's easy to say. If they don't have dumb penalties or bad turnovers, it's hard to see them not scoring 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. MyBookie.ag, again, use that promo code WARCHANT. 901. That's a Memphis area code, I think. Wake up. I know recruiting is really dependent on product. Langston confirmed as much. But for in-state rivalry games like this, how big of a difference is a 7-point win versus a 30-point win? Obviously, it makes a difference, but does that put us 2 years ahead or only 1 year ahead, or what do you think?
Look, if you go and win this game, like say 44-14, after beating your other in-state rival 45-3, again, I don't think you're swaying many people in this class because that hay's almost in the barn. Right, that's the saying, right? Or is the hay out of the barn?
No, you're correct. Yeah, the horse is out of the barn.
Yeah, the horse is out the barn.
Hay's in the barn. Horse is some bad ideas. Something's bad out there,
Yeah. But I think for the 2024 class, how can you not notice that? I think what happens in May with the draft is also important. But I think if you were hammering your in-state rivals, not beating them on a 4th and 14 in the final minute, but hammering them. I think that somebody that's 50-50 or maybe leaning 60-40 to Florida because they think, Billy Napier's going to have this thing rolling. Oh, wait, they just lost by 40 points to Florida State. And Florida State's done what this year? And they did what to Miami? Like, I think that really does matter. I don't know that a 7-point win with teams with similar-ish records, not championship records, either way, like a 7-point win or a 7-point loss, I don't know that's just so happenstance. Like it could have just been a couple of plays here and there. But if you beat them by 40, there's no doubt who has the better program at the moment. And I think, you leave no doubt, man.
Let's go to our guy, Mark M. Adams, CZ. Wake up. Well, big week. Time for another beatdown. We're easily the better team. Just stay composed, even if it's that gross orange-blue on the other side. Just execute. They have their quarterback. We have multiple guys on both sides of the ball that can make them pay for mistakes or poor execution. The way we executed at Hard Rock gives me real confidence that we'll see another dominant win, and we have them at Doak in a night game. We could rush for 300 yards in this game. And Jordan seems to be running really hard again when he pulls it and takes off. Nightmare for their defensive coordinator. Agree? Notice how I didn't identify either program by name.
Right.
Solid. Question for you guys. Well, nightmare for their DC, probably, yeah. Which go check out the video with Jordan after practice Tuesday when I literally asked him, I'm like, hey, man, like the way you guys are playing right now, can any team figure out a way to stop you guys for 60 minutes? And he literally just laughed. So that's where they're at.
Yeah, they're very confident and with good reason.
Yeah.
They are a nightmare for DCs. At least the ones they've faced this year. Who's been the best? Who's done the best job with them? Wake?
NC State, I guess. All right, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, NC State, for sure. NC State's the best defense they faced. And they just
self-inflicted.
Pooped the bed. Yeah. They just pooped the bed in the second half. That's right, NC State. But other than that, they've kind of moved the ball. And even in that game, they had almost 300 yards at the half?
Something like that, 297
It's something
maybe?
crazy
Yeah.
against a really good defense. They were horrible in the second half. But they just do this to everyone. Great defenses, bad defenses, pretty good defenses. They put up 300 yards and a half against you. It's just kind of what they do. So, yeah, they are a nightmare, and they should be very confident in how they're playing.
It's on a micro scale, the terms of the transformation almost. Not really transformation, is probably too strong of a word, but I could not imagine Jordan Travis making that decision ever again, as long as he's the quarterback in Florida State that he made against NC State. I could not imagine him kind of getting frazzled and forcing something.
I think, man, don't you think – and this shouldn't be in play, but it absolutely was. If this Fitzgerald, the one that's striping every kick right down the middle, even the one he missed against Syracuse, I think that changes everything. I think that changes the quarterback's decision-making. He would never say it. Yeah. You can't leave it up to a kick right there. But now, with the way Fitzgerald's kicking, the whole goal would be, let's just get 7 or 8 yards and give Ryan a 30-yard field goal.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean? That's what I think his thought process would be.
Yeah, his kick in period 3 of Tuesday was
hey man, get it out of his system.
Of a Monet or whatever. It was ugh. But anyhow,
I think Monets are the ones that are gross up close, right?
I don't even know.
Wasn't that the line from Clueless?
I don't know. I was trying to say a piece of art. It's something that's a masterpiece. It was the complete opposite of a masterpiece. Question for you guys. You've been working your tails off covering a historic program back on the rise. Great content on Warchant nonstop. I love it. After we win Friday night, are you guys ready for a little break before the bowl, or do you not want this season to end? The last 5 weeks have been so fun. I imagine the most fun you've had covering FSU. Go Noles. Can't wait to see the video from CP with the kickstands, funnels, and whatever Corey decides to do.
Aslan, you'll be there, right, if they win?
No.
We'll come up to CP for that.
No, I'm good.
We might need you to film it.
I'll be sleeping.
All right. Well, we're
11
sleeping.
Yeah, 11. You guys will be getting hammered at 11:30 in the morning, man. Miss me
Yeah.
with that.
I gotta figure out if I can talk them into like after the Ohio State Michigan game.
What are you guys afraid is gonna like? What's gonna happen? Like you're gonna ruin the Michigan Ohio State game if you guys do it at 2:00 at halftime or something?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. Nothing has been well planned when it comes to this other than a keg stand. I've just said we're going to do a show. Maybe we don't even do a show. Maybe we just film ourselves doing keg stands.
Sounds like guys are going to probably end up doing a show.
But I did say we would do a happy half hour because we feel bad that we don't have one before the Florida game at CP, that we would do a post one if they win because everybody would be happy. So yeah, let's hope they're all doing keg stands on Saturday. That's what we're all rooting for.
Are you going to be sad that you don't cover a game next Saturday, Corey, or are you going to embrace the break?
I mean, it's number one. I would say the 13 team was still the most fun I've had covering a team. This is close though. Really, it is. Just because even 13, as fun as it was, we didn't get to watch any of the practices. We didn't get to feel like we watched a team grow. We just saw them on Saturdays. It's a really unique experience to cover Florida State when practices are open. You can talk to any player or coach you want, and they're good now. But I think so. My first response when he asked that is like, no, I could use a break. But no, I would love if this team had Charlotte next week. You know what I mean? I think that this is a fun thing to cover. I do. Like, we'll get enough. We got 8 months to rest. We got 8 months without football, and that's fast approaching. Like, if this team could keep playing the next 2 or 3 weeks, I would. They're fun to watch, man. And I'm going to miss it until that bowl game.
It's weird. I've at times I've told people I feel like we work hard. I don't want to say harder or less. I feel like I almost work more when it's not football season because we're like stretching and trying to find something football related to do every day, and it's like this anxiety almost, which I used to have in television trying to stack and fill a show. I think poor Ira has to deal with that now because I'm just like, whatever, I did the podcast today. I'm done. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
But like the older you get as a kid, it's like, man, to be a rock star, how awesome would that be? But then it's like, think about. So we're going to cover this game at 7:30, 11. Let's say 11 o'clock. It's final.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. We'll get Norvell at 11:30. By the time we're done with all the players, it'll be like midnight. Then we got to do the Warchant report, the Warchant wrap. Got to come back home, put that together. Probably after like 1 in the morning when that's up. And then I'm the guy like wind down almost. So I can't really go out and do anything, right? All the bars are going to be closing by then. I want to take a shower and wind down. Can't do that. And then back to this rock star thing. As a younger guy, I'm like, man, it'd be so awesome to be a rock star. But then the older you get, you just think about, all right, so for like 3 months of the year, you don't sleep in your bed. You have to perform at your highest every single night. Because it doesn't matter if it's Cleveland or if it's Denver or if it's Austin, like those people haven't seen you yet. And you've got to bring it. And you're getting hammered, and you've got no sleep, and you're on a bus, and you're showering in a Winnebago, and, whatever. You get adulation, all this adulation, rather. Figured out that word.
I like undulation.
Yeah.
You get a lot of undulation as a rock star, too.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I mean, there's a give and take. Listen, I'd rather be doing this than pretty much anything else in the world. But I'll take a few weeks of, just being able to breathe. Be all right.
But you'd like to cover this team in Charlotte. That would be fun.
What's the weather like in Charlotte? It might be cold.
But you'd be covering a team that's in a championship game. You get the gist.
Yeah.
You're going to be missing it in the middle of February, especially with this basketball team. Hey, shout out. They got a dub. That was nice. That was good to see. They got some more depth. For real. That sounded sarcastic. They got a dub. Matthew Cleveland played really, really well in the second half. That was good to see finally. Naheem McLeod really plays hard and tries. That's good. Cameron Fletcher had a nice game. Maybe they can win another game or two this week. They're in the Thanksgiving tournament in Orlando, so maybe they'll win a couple.
They got more wins than Louisville. Their brand new coach.
You ain't lying. And I didn't realize when you texted that. I knew they were 0-5. I didn't know that they got beat like that on Tuesday.
38.
They were down like 53-18 at one point in the second half. That's rough for their new coach. Yeesh.
That was a Kenny Payne, I think.
Yeah, former player.
All
but
right,
yeah, Aslan, you love your job.
I
Come
do.
on now.
Yeah,
It's a great job.
Just, listen, I was feeling really good, and then Corey mentioned the whole quarterbacks that are good have hung 30 points, and now I'm grumpy again.
Sorry.
Estrad 1998 wake up. The coaches will have the game plan. I assume you will talk a lot about it during the show. So my question is, which also go check out that interview with Mike Norvell when he's asked about if there's overlap between Louisiana and Florida because of the whole coaching. Napier brought about 4 or 5 guys, and then everybody else that left or stayed back in Lafayette pretty much runs what Billy's running in Gainesville. And like Norvell's answer is great. He's like, "Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff," and then he ends it with, "Like, we've been playing for this. We got a plan in place. Yeah, okay. We're good." He literally says like, "Yeah, we're good."
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, it's
all right.
incredible.
Okay, Mike.
It's incredible how confident they are, and it's not. I don't think it's overconfidence either. It's just like they just know that all the stars are aligning. All right, your favorite victory over Florida, and when we get the win, where will this one rank? I assume its importance to the climb. I am assuming its importance to the climb, and therefore will have bigger and more important contributions to our return to greatness. All right, his favorite win over Florida, 80. I was there. I was 12. You could feel the Charlie Pell Gators, 107 recruiting violations. Wayne Peace, they were getting ready to start their 6-game win streak. They were up 13-3 at half, but old Rick Stockstill, Hardest Johnson, the Noles fought back for a 17-13 victory, moved us to 10-1, up from 3-2 in the rankings, and set up for our rematch with Oklahoma. 98, a close second. Rooster, P-Dub, take down the Gators. The electricity in the stadium was unreal. Oh, if Winky had not gotten hurt, that would have been another title. Maybe. Probably. They win this one. Where will it rank? Well, I don't know if we're talking like in our lifetime or the ones that we've actually attended. Listen, I haven't seen Florida State beat Florida, get ready for it, since 2003 in person. I haven't been in person. But the only other Gator game I saw after that was 2004. Because that's just how, well, then obviously the Tebow run comes into play there. And like I want no part of being in a stadium watching Florida State lose to Florida. So I'm like, I'll sit these ones out. Then when Jimbo got things good, I was in Montana, and I'm like, man, I got to cover the games up here. Then Mississippi, I got to cover the Egg Bowl, so I really couldn't come and leave. So I've seen them win 2 and lose 1. I saw 2002, 2003, and they lost 2004. If they win this one, I'll put it right between 2003, my favorite, and 2002, my second favorite. I'll bump that to second. It'll be more important than any of those wins, though, the 2002 or 2003 win, in terms of the contribution to the return to greatness, as he says.
Maybe. I mean, well, don't we need hindsight to know that for sure? I mean, we can reflect on it in 5 years and see how important it was.
Well,
it would be
2002, 2003 didn't portend to anything good.
No, but I'm saying this might not either. I certainly hope it does. I expect it to, but you never know.
So cynical, Corey. Snap out of it, man.
It's not. It's a realist. We don't know what this team's going to be in 2025. I think it'll be very good, but who knows for sure. So we can't say that. Like the 2010 win was massive. It basically retired Urban Meyer again after his 2-week hiatus the year before when he quit, and it showed that Jimbo had kind of taken over the state.
At the moment, at the time, or in hindsight?
No, in both. In the moment, you're like, man, that's crazy. Florida State last year just lost to this team by, they could have lost by 100 if they wanted to, and now they're beating them. That in Jimbo's first year. And then obviously you saw what happened the rest of that half. The next 5 or 6 years, Florida State dominated Florida and was one of the best programs in the country. That was a very good sign. I don't know that we have to, but, we didn't think that in 2012, right?
Right.
When they lost to Florida, it was after, it was 13, 14, 15 that you realize what 2010 really meant. And so I think it'll be like that, but I hope it will be like that, but we don't know for sure. So just on pure enjoyment, it'll always probably be the 98 game because of, like I said, the context of what had happened the years before. But this would be, it's hard to say this is like bigger than what, like those games where they're both in the top 10, which was every year of the 90s, and you beat them more than you didn't. Like, it's hard to say this would be bigger than any of those. But I don't know. We'll see. So it's tough to answer. It's a good question. It's just tough to answer. Let's hope we're having to talk about it in a few years, though, that they actually did win this game, and it was a big deal.
Jangle Lang, what's up, fellas? In the spirit of Thanksgiving, what are you most thankful for when it comes to the 2022 Noles? I, for one, am thankful for you two jagaloons and all the entertainment you bring to us on a daily basis. Gets me through my chores and morning routine. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Can't wait to watch the keg stands, funnels, and shots of vodka Mios Saturday. Noles 38, Gates 18, says Jangle Lang.
Okay, that's a good. So the under.
Yeah.
The under 58. I got you.
Yeah.
What, man? I was thinking I'm not going to because I'm just lazy. I might. I don't know. We'll see. I was gonna write like one of those cliche, goofy, thankful columns for Thanksgiving.
You did that like 3 years ago.
I do it all the time. That's what you do. Hey, when I grew up, Furman Bisher wrote it every year in the AJC. It's just part of a tradition. But they would be different. Like this year, it would be Alex Atkins would be every other word.
Yeah. That's mine for most thankful.
Jordan Travis too, man. Like just what he made them tolerable in 20 and 21. Like they wouldn't have won anything if he wasn't around. So he won them some games and made them at least competitive in others. But he's turned into one of the better quarterbacks in the United States. And this offense has become a wrecking ball. And it's just really cool to see. And it's been really fun, and I'm really thankful that we get to cover an offense and a football team like this again.
It doesn't need a full-out 30 for 30. But remember when they used to do like 30 for 30 shorts?
Yeah.
I really want to know like how – you talk about like a butterfly effect. Like how did Jordan come across the screen to like Willie or Kendall or vice versa? Like I just want to know, was it one of those things where it's like, oh, this kid from the state of Florida, we need a quarterback, let's see. Or like did they know of him? Because it's just think about like how innocuous it was for this kid whose brother played baseball at Florida State from the state of Florida, was at Louisville, wasn't happy, and clearly they didn't think highly of him from the jump because it took forever for him to get an opportunity finally. And then once he finally does, those guys are gone. My thought is that his head coach didn't believe in him, his offensive coordinator did, and finally the offensive coordinator convinced the head coach to finally hand things over to this guy. Then the offensive coordinator leaves him. But then he still ends up pulling together and having a great career. So it's amazing, really, when you think about it. Plus that transfer.
It's been a journey for my man. Can't wait to see him in 2023.
Yeah. Mimi Knoll 14, wake up. First time poster in the Renegade Express. They put 2 exclamation marks. So I'll just say, wake up. I met Corey and Aslan here in Jacksonville at Top Golf. This is Linda. What's up, Linda?
What's up, Linda? When did we go to Top? Was that for Willie?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, Linda.
It was 2019. That's like after I broke up with my girlfriend. I remember one of the ladies there was like, Aslan, we haven't heard you talk about your girlfriend on the show. What happened? I'm like, yeah, she dumped me. They're like, oh, we knew. We felt it. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Can't wait till you get a new one.
Me too.
Steffi's going to have competition as the first lady of Wake Up Warchant.
No.
By the way, what about the one you didn't want to talk about last week? Is any Thanksgiving plans or anything?
Well, I'm going home. I didn't hear from her on Tuesday, though. That's not a good sign. Whole
Probably
day
not.
without hearing anything.
But y'all were in a spot where you were going back and forth for days.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah,
all right, well, hey, it might have been a busy day.
Yeah, who knows? All right, just read a thread about who the officials are for Friday's game. I know you can tell us. I don't know. I looked up the game notes, and sometimes they'll put the referees in the game notes.
They don't usually. I don't remember ever seeing them until you get to the press box, and they have the flip card on each seat in the press box that gives you the rosters, the starters, the 2 deep, and then it'll say officials for the game. That's the only time I ever remember ever seeing it, except for like national championship games. You'll know ahead of time for those, or well, maybe even not that. They just announce which crew is doing it, like which conference's crew is doing it. But no, we won't know. I don't think that will be public until 5 o'clock on Friday. By the way, I was thinking about this. Is it ACC? So it'll be SEC officials, right?
Man, I was just about to say, 'cause I remember 2003, Jack Childress, ACC ref, in the swamp.
Yeah.
But then after some of the calls they thought were dubious.
Yeah, you get your own. You get because remember last year when because it was the ACC officials that screwed up the 4th down at the Florida's final touchdown when it should have been 4th and goal, and they had it 1st and goal. That whole thing, I wrote a whole column about it because they screwed it up so badly. Right. And then I called the ACC offices. Well, I wouldn't have called them if it was an SEC crew doing it. Right. So yeah, that was so. It's going to be the SEC officials in this one.
Okay, so they're back to doing that then, because I think there's for a while,
right?
Well, I think because after Childress, because you had opposing conference at the home field, so it was in the swamp, but it was ACC refs in the swamp, and then after that, I thought it was like whoever's home gets their referees from their conference. So I don't know, maybe they swapped it back to that, but I clearly remember that's how it went. They flipped it. I'll read this question. Maybe I can research the crew from last week or last year and figure it out. Or maybe I'll need to read 2. It's Eric. Wake up, Noles gentlemen. It's rivalry week with those Gators. I don't see this game close at all. I see the Noles taking down the Gators at Doak 50-17. That's right. You're hearing it right now. Jordan Travis is going to throw for over 200 and have 4 touchdowns. Benson, Ward will combine for 100 yards each, and they'll each have a touchdown. Party going crazy all day Friday, Saturday at the corner pocket with keg stands. Go Noles. Eric from Tallahassee. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the like button, guys and gals. Subscribe to Warchant. For only $10, drink your delicious DeLuna coffee. Happy Thanksgiving, Warchant crew and pillars.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I want to say that as much as possible. Man, yeah, if they put up 50, we're all dancing. I'm going to be dancing on the field after the game for the Warchant rap. So are you, Aslan. You're going to make a cameo if they score 50, because though the music will be playing from that suite above us. So yeah, man, that's that would be remarkable. I think they've only scored 50 once on them. In '88, they beat them 52-17. I think that's the only time they've scored 50 on them.
Okay. All right, yeah, I can look it up after this. RBI 1984. Favorite Nole win, 77 Hogtown. 37-9, Wally Woodham, Jimmy Jordan. Bobby called them Wally Jim Jordan. Passing the lights out of their defense while our defense swarmed all over them. We'll never forget the methodical way the Noles came out to the field before kickoff with a get-down-to-business attitude. 77.
It was also had to be the first time in a long time they had beaten them because they had been so bad for so long. And that was Bobby's second year, and it kind of confirmed what certainly looked to be the case, that this guy can really coach. Like they're about to be 9-2. They're 8-2 after 2 years ago losing almost every game. So yeah, that was and beating the bejesus out of them like that. Yeah, that was a really big win. That was one of my dad's all-time favorite wins.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like we're back to how it used to be. Looking up at 29, the quickest thing for me to find was 2019. 2019, that was in the swamp. Head referee was Marcus Woods. He's an ACC ref. So it will be SEC referees by that pattern on Friday
say
night.
that again? What? You said 2019 it was an SEC referee?
ACC referee.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
it was
I
in the
thought you
swamp.
said SEC.
I might have. I apologize. He's an ACC ref, Atlantic Coast Conference. I apologize.
All right.
Growing up, my dad used to take me to the game at the stadium. We'd watch our favorite team play, and then we'd always eat at Zaxby's. That's why it means so much to me that Zaxby's is the official chicken of college fans. To me, they go together perfectly. It reminds me of my dad and...
Oh, come on, Ref! Are you serious? Get some glasses! Terrible call!
Now I take my kids to the game, and we always eat at Zaxby's too. It's tradition.
We're proud to be the official chicken of college fans. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
And don't forget to listen in for the Zaxby's Indescribably Good Player of the Week every Monday on Wake Up Warchant.
Drill Sergeant Porter, wake up. First, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
To you. Yeah. Also, there's different ways you can hunt gators in Florida. You can go to a hunting preserve where they will guide you to find one.
Okay.
If it's a preserve, why are you hunting them, though?
Well, to preserve your life and your family's life.
Another is the state of Florida has a lottery every year where they have a drawing to select who gets a gator tag. Also, the one in the picture I was sitting on was still alive while we measured after I caught it. It was almost 10 feet, so that was the keeper. That is a big reptile. Louisiana
is it kind of crazy that if I met Drill Sergeant Porter out, we could have a beer and talk and have a really normal human interaction, and our lives are so completely different. You know what I mean? He has seen some things and done some things that have never even crossed my mind. But we're still into Florida State football. We still got that common bond, man.
He says that Louisiana is big with their gator hunting as well. I decided for the game, drum roll, creamy Cajun shrimp and gator sausage pasta. All right, save me a bowl. If you're going to be at the game, Drill Sergeant Port, let me know where you're tailgating at. I'll try to walk through it. Actually, maybe I won't be able to get there, but in spirit.
Question for next week, Drill Sergeant, is what do you hunt gator with? Is it a bow? Is it a shotgun?
Yeah.
Do you have to wrestle it and stab it? And carve out its belly? I don't know how any of the gator hunting works. So that's next week's edition.
Back to the game. My truth. Wake up. I think we are jam up and jelly tight going into the Gator game. I've never heard that before.
I haven't either. Is that a saying?
I can use it. Start it.
All right.
It's as if this offense takes just what it's given. So what will the Gators be looking to take away from this offense? The run game? But can you, though? I would think. Okay.
I mean, you could take it away as if like, okay, we're going to put 9 guys up there. But even then, you hit one little crease, and what would have been an 11-yard run turns into a 70-yard touchdown because there's nobody back there. But you, I guess you could say all out, we're going to take the run away. We're not going to let them beat us running the ball. But don't you think the other teams have tried that? And also, can you really do that with Jordan Travis and these receivers and the way the passing game's working?
Exactly. Yeah.
That just seems like you're setting it. Oh, you just want to cover all our guys one-on-one and leave the middle of the field open? All right. There's a quarterback that can exploit that. This isn't, even last year. Well, Jordan Travis was pretty good against them last year too, but certainly not what you saw. The last time Florida played Florida State in Tallahassee was who was the quarterback? I guess it was Francois, right? Remember that game, Aslan? How awful it was.
Oh gosh, 2018 was gross.
Yeah, that was gross. And then Blackman was the next year. Like this passing game's different, man. You do everything you can to stop the run. Number one, good luck because people aren't traditionally doing that. But if you do that, you're facing a team that can throw for 400 yards on you, like he did against Georgia Tech. Complete 21 of 23 like he did against Syracuse, or run all over you like they did against Miami and, everybody.
I wonder what the Louisiana coaches that are friends with Napier, although I'd be like, hey, man, you didn't bring me to Gainesville with you, like pound
Good
sand.
point. Yeah, do you think they're sharing information? Because, they might be upset that they're still in Lafayette and not in Gainesville.
Fuller and Norvell talked about, almost made it sound like it's like nearly a certainty that there's conversations going on between those staffs, but like I don't really know. Like, well, Louisiana could have told them, like, yeah, man, just they're that much better than us. They have answers to pretty much the test.
Yeah, and what secrets could you get that you wouldn't just see on the film?
Right.
In Louisiana didn't even play Johnny Wilson. They don't even know what that's about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Jordan complete 9 passes in that game? I feel like it's going to be a different game than the one on Saturday.
I guess run blitzes, but I mean, again, you figured somebody would have figured out maybe that's a way to do it. But again, it goes back to like they're not predictable, man.
Right.
So.
And they have a quarterback that sees it really well, and that does not mean just sees the defense when he's passing. Like there was a play in that Louisiana game, I think it was 3rd and 7, and Jordan before the pre-snap realizes where the pressure is coming from, where the defense has shifted to. He just shifts the play. He just calls a running play to the left. He audibles out of whatever was called on 3rd and 7 and just calls an off-tackle play to Benson that's an easy 18 yards because he sees it, and he reads the defense really well. So, obviously, Florida has probably more talented players than Louisiana on defense, but you have a quarterback that, at least through the first 11 games, has been seeing it and reading it very, very well.
I am Ira, but it's not Ira Schofel.
How do you know?
I don't. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. He might have a burner.
Will the Noles shrink in the home spotlight Friday? They have received many pats on the back the last few weeks and have many reasons to feel as though they have arrived and can beat anyone. Is this team as mature as we want them to be?
Yeah, well, we'll see, right? That, again, I brought that up, that is a concern I have. It's just how they handle the moment. I'm not predicting that they'll handle it poorly. I'm not predicting that they'll shrink. I want to see that they won't. I also, in a weird way, well, no, don't understand. If I had my druthers, they win by 45 points. The column's easier to write. It's a lot more laid back, and everything's better about that. The off season would be better. But I would like to see this team, the way it's currently constructed, this roster, this unit, this team, in a game in the second half and how they handle it. Because they have that, again, when you're talking about steps and you're talking about progress, you can't necessarily, they've handled the last three really well. The last three close games they played, they lost. So when they get challenged and when somebody doesn't back down and they don't steamroll them and they get punched in the mouth, can they counter and not give up a 27-0 run or a 28-0 run? I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not predicting that's going to happen, but I do want to see how they handle a real game and a real challenge, because I think this will be one. That doesn't, even if it's a close game, I don't think that means they shrank in the moment. Now, if they go out and look horrible for a quarter and a half and let a team go on a run like that, then yeah, I think you could say they shrunk in the moment. But if they just are in a tough game, Florida's got some talented players, and it might just be an awesome game, and hopefully they can do enough to win it at the end.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of doubt about this game going into it here, but the more we talk about it, you kind of have to maybe entertain some of this sort of stuff. And I mean, I have just too much confidence that you got Fabian and Jared and Coop. Like, who's going to let the defensive line slack? You got Tatum at linebacker being your quarterback. I mean, you got Jamie. Renardo's playing so well at the other corner spot. There's too much talent and seniority-laden leadership across every part of the football to fall short in this. This isn't like an overly young team going to their first big game together. I just can't imagine them everybody deciding to have the worst possible game on the worst possible time, that's how it almost characterized them shrinking.
And they're really buttoned up, right, on defense. Yeah. Like, they don't give up big plays, except for the one to Clemson. Well, two to Clemson. They don't give up big plays. So, again, just don't give them free points. Just don't have a bust where they get you for a 75-yard touchdown because your safety went the wrong way and you forgot to cover someone. Make them go down, earn it down the field with 4 or 5 first downs. Because I think the longer you have them on the field, the better chances are they're going to make a mistake or you're going to get that stop. Just don't give them free 70-yard touchdowns.
Hey, Georgia Tech had beat Virginia the week before they came to Tallahassee, right? Like on a Thursday or Friday, I feel like. Because Florida State was coming off a bye week.
They lost that game.
They lost to Virginia?
They lost on that Thursday night, yeah.
All right.
And that's when Sims got hurt for good.
Yeah. Yeah, man, these last 4 games have just been storybook almost in terms of like how – I mean, Miami, I still think – I'm not going to take anything away from Miami. I think Miami came into that game wanting it, needing it, trying hard, and then Florida State promptly disposed and dispatched of them. I know Louisiana's probably going to do a bowl game. I mean, they had their backup quarterback. Georgia Tech came into that game with a backup quarterback. Syracuse had lost 3 straight games, and that dome wasn't anywhere near capacity. It felt like they were probably kind of giving up on the season, but then they bounced back and beat they hung tough with and put up like 500 yards on Wake Forest. So what do I know? Yeah. Stop making me doubt things. They won't shrink. They'll be fine. Stop putting these thoughts in my head, everybody.
Yeah, Schrader looked good in that game too. Like it really might be like, probably not. I think Schrader was a little banged up, but I mean, it really might be Florida State just dominated that Syracuse team. That's not a bad team.
No.
Just straight up dominated them. Again, Syracuse has played some good teams, and they've lost to them. They haven't looked like that. No. I mean, they got embarrassed at home. They got absolutely owned. Again, that's just not, whether Schrader wasn't 100% or not, that wasn't supposed to happen. That was crazy.
They get like stiff-armed. Malik McClain's stiff-arm wasn't that violent. This guy's like on roller skates. It's like, golly, they They just did not come out
Just too
playing
good.
hard.
Just too good, man.
So just don't give them any hope. I mean, more so than any other game, always you want to start fast. This game, I think, of any contest this season, you definitely need to come out and jump out to a lead and hold on to it. All right, let's. We got several more.
I mean,
it's
Aslan,
my
come
fault,
on now.
we're too casual.
We can't.
Well,
we got about 12 more minutes left. Let's get through as many as we can.
Mile High Noles from Cannon City, Colorado. Question: which of the following two scenarios, if they were actually would have happened, would have had a bigger impact on Florida State? Scenario 1, 95, Randy Moss finds a way to stay on the roster and has full 3 years to Florida.
That one.
Scenario 2 would have been if Bowden would have been able to get Tebow to come to Tallahassee.
No, that one. The first one. They win back-to-back-to-back national championships.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you, Mile High Noel. It's first time posting. It was 13 seconds.
Hey man, we're going through them. It's a fair question, but Randy Moss was incredible. He'd have won 2 Heismans.
I love it. Let's keep going, Corey. It's our guy Derek.
Peter Warwick would have been the other receiver. The other guy.
Think about that. I mean, you're being like somewhat sarcastic, but that's crazy.
No, I'm not. He would have been the other guy. Like, wow, number 9's pretty good too.
Amazing. XDQ004. It's our guy Derek. Wake up. All right, question. What do you think the lines would be against these potential bowl opponents? Here are his. We'll agree or disagree. He says Bama would be, I guess he's saying what Florida State would be. Florida State would be +3 versus Bama. That sounds about right.
I think it'd be more than that.
Really?
Alabama's favored by double digits no matter where they play. Again, though, is Bryce Young playing? Probably not. It's it's hard to even know because if they were playing this Alabama, like if they were playing Alabama this week, I think Florida State is a 10-point dog. Yeah. Because everybody is to Alabama. Yeah. And I would take Florida State +10.
They got 2-loss Alabama ahead of Clemson in the playoff poll. Florida State 16th in that one, by the way. 2-loss LSU ahead of 1-loss Southern Cal.
What's Alabama's best win, Aslan?
A&M.
Is it better than Clemson's best win? Because Clemson's best win was on the road at number 16, Florida State. That's a pretty good win.
Yeah, I guess I don't know where Ole Miss is right now, but they did beat Ole Miss, so that might be their best.
Yeah, right. Is that as good as?
Then they
Clemson's?
lost.
No.
I mean, they lost on a 2-point conversion at the end of the game, and then they lost on like a 50-yard field goal in overtime or something against Tennessee.
You're right. But they barely beat Texas. They barely beat somebody else. A&M.
Yeah.
They barely beat that Texas A&M team, and it does not matter, right? It just doesn't matter because it's Alabama. They barely beat Texas A&M, who lost 6 games in a row.
Though I'd want that benefit of the doubt if it was us in 2000. I'd want that.
Well, I guess.
All right, let's. Purdue, Florida State favored by 14.
Correct.
I like that. Illinois favored by 10. Florida State.
I think so too. Yeah. And you'd get a chance to talk to the Newton kid, show him what your program's all about, so he can hit the portal and come. Talk about their defensive lineman. I'm gonna look him up again real quick.
Okay,
keep talking.
Texas, he says favored by 7. I think it'd be like a 3.5. The line. Oregon, he says -3. Yeah, I'll take that. That sounds about right. Support the sponsors and Rising Spears and go Noles.
Yeah, I think those were all fair lines. I just think the Alabama one, just because I know Vegas, the people are going to bet on Alabama, and they know that. I think they moved that number up. It wouldn't be just 3, but all the other ones seemed about right.
All right. Esquint67, wake up! Hate Week is here. In the '90s, they used to beat the drum all week, 24 hours a day on campus, leading up to the Florida game. In my time, they did it for the Miami game. But I guess maybe they did it for the Florida game as well. No matter the situation, at the end of the year, this is the game that matters the most. It's Florida. FU, UF. I think this Friday night game might actually be better than a Saturday showdown. Let's throw them a beat down. No question this week, but a funny story. My younger sister went to Florida. There were 2 years in which we both were in school, and those Thanksgiving breaks, we barely spoke. Blood's thicker than water. Maybe it's not. Go Noles. Beat Florida. Esquint67. Class of 93. Shout out.
I think they probably didn't do it in your time, Aslan, because weren't kids gone? Like the students were gone when they played Florida.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, because I remember Miami was the war drum game. Like I remember going to Doak at like midnight and freaking pounding it when I was drunk.
No.
The drum.
Got it. Understood. Jerzan Newton. He's still the he's let's see, the second best Power 5 defensive tackle in the country according to Pro Football Focus. Okay. Just behind a kid from Pitt.
Is he from Florida? Is he one of the guys on the?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a sophomore, and he's from. Well, it doesn't say here, but yes, he is from Florida. I looked it up. Okay. Jerzan Newton.
All right.
6'2", 295.
Nice.
Oh, his draft eligible year is 2025.
Oh man, plenty of tread on the tire.
What are you doing, dude? Come on now. Is Jerzan Newton coming to Florida State? I don't know. I just don't know. I can't say he's not.
Jock_Jams wake up first-time poster adding to the Florida hate. In New Orleans, I shared my epic story about winning the College Game Day sign of the week at a random New York City stop. I remember that. Back in 2017, the Gators had not scored a touchdown in some time. So in my Tuck Febo shirt, I went to Times Square at 4 in the morning with a sign that read, "Easier to get Hamilton tickets than a Florida touchdown. #GoGata."
Nice.
I remember that. I remember meeting him in New Orleans. I remember him talking about that. My best troll, bleep the Gators. I'll send you a photo about all that. Noles by 10. Question, who's a cringier fan base, A&M or Florida?
A&M.
I mean, those yell guys are, but on the whole, I think the people that actually sit in the stands, I'll give it to Florida. But
I guess, but aren't you by those yell guys still being such a prevalent part of your program? Aren't you condoning it and embracing it? Like, wouldn't the Florida State fan base, if that stuff was going on, some nonsensical tradition from 70 years ago was still going on in, say, 2017, there'd be a meeting and people would be like, nope, we don't want this anymore. This is embarrassing. Let's stop it. But no, A&M, they just keep rolling with that. They just keep rolling with it. Like, yeah, isn't this a fun tradition? No. It's unbelievable. And, they're all doing it. Like, they're all practicing their yells. So I'd still say, I get it. I've been in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium quite a few times. I get what you're saying. But I would say Florida State has its own share of Florida-ish fans. I think it's fair to say that. Every fan base in the South does.
Yeah.
I don't think Florida State has any yell practice fans. I just don't. I think that's unto Texas A&M itself. Yeah. They're the only ones that have it and deal with it, and it is gross and weird.
Murdoch Loco, wake up, first-time poster, long-time listener. I live in Robertsdale, Alabama, alma mater of Apple's Tim Cook, but I'm a Samsung guy.
Tim Cook was from Alabama?
Yeah, he is.
All
he went to Auburn. He went to Auburn undergrad.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. I had a quick question, Aslan, for you, and a recommendation for Corey. Aslan, what water are you drinking in that big green bottle during your live shows? It is the Mountain Valley spring water. Still, not the sparkling. Still, it's delicious. If you can really taste the difference between bottled water, like spring water and purified water and all the other crap, like if you can actually tell the difference, I recommend drinking this. If you can't, you're going to waste $3 on it, but I love it. It's amazing. But a lot of times I just fill up with water out of my fridge and just like the bottle. But the real stuff actually is amazing. Corey, I recommend to you Cherry Blackberry Mio. I've tried most of them over the last several years. It's by far my favorite. Thanks for all you guys do and the entire Warchant staff. Love you guys. Hit the like button, eat Zaxby's, drink DeLuna, go play some trivia at Corner Pocket. Go Noles from Alabama.
I will take you up on that. I think I've had the black cherry. I think that's Stephanie's favorite, and I just didn't take it. But it's not because they don't do a great job over at Mio. It's just that I've never been a big black cherry fan. So it could be the best black cherry on earth. It still wouldn't taste great to me. But I think that is Stephanie's favorite.
Cherry blackberry, though, Corey. Cherry blackberry.
No, I don't know that I've had that.
All right.
Okay.
Let's be on the lookout for that.
Because there's a black cherry. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll give that a try. Thank you for the tip.
Yeah.
I also just looked up Jerzan Newton, Aslan. He's from Clearwater Central Catholic in St. Pete.
CCC. That's Tom's alma mater. That's Dylan
is it really?
That's Dylan Gibbons' alma mater. Yeah.
That's where Dylan Gibbons is from?
Yeah. That's where Riley Cooper went to school as well, yeah.
Well, anybody else on the Florida State team?
Nobody else went to CCC. Aiden Shariari, the kicker, 97. He
so
went to
you
CCC.
Got two connections to this kid. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Jerzan. All right, we got two more. We did it. Walking Knoll. It's our guy Walker in Alabama. Walking Knoll 01. What a week, guys. I'm fired up to be here. I feel like this one is one of the most important questions we can ask this week. Will Deuce Robinson be in town this weekend? I might have missed it, but I don't ever think I got an answer from Michael, and I do understand he's really busy, so I don't want to keep bothering him. Well, you can. That's his job. You can bother about recruiting questions.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I went and checked his thread for you, Walker, and he doesn't have his name in there. Also, I think because it is a Friday game, that'd probably be a tough visit to happen coming from Arizona. I also checked Twitter before we did this, and I didn't see anything about him visiting on Twitter. And again, Michael's got a thread up on the premium recruiting board with expected visitors. Deuce is not listed as one of those guys, but again, we're recording this at a different time, so maybe he'll pop on it later. But feel free, man. I'll tag Michael in a thread on the PRB for you, so you're not bothering him, and I do. There we go. Last one, we made it, Corey. Steel 2127. Wake up, fellas. First-time poster. I'm from Amityville, New York, home of the horror house. It's a beautiful house, though. Here's my question. Let's say you guys are at the negotiating table with Norvell. I like this. I didn't even read. I like this good. At what dollar amount do you let him walk? 7, 6 million, and why? I would give him whatever he wants, but it's not my money. On a side note, I want Oregon in a bowl game. Master versus student. Let's go, Noles.
Did you see that Dillingham tweeted out something about the bamboo offense?
No, did he?
Yeah, it was funny, and I think it had something to do in relation to Florida State.
Okay.
Like how Florida State was really good now. Their offense was really good, and I thought he retweeted it with a gif of bamboo growing.
Right. Nice. Never forget.
I would say, oh man, I don't know, 11, 16. It's not. Yeah,
wow.
It's all goofy. It's all goofy money. I would do if I'm at the negotiating table with Mike Norvell is I would, talk to my collectives, see all the money that's been raised, talk to the boosters, and get all the money that's been raised. Show the entire pot of money to Mike Norvell and say, buddy, let's just say you want all of this money. That's great, but we won't be able to pay the players and we won't be able to keep your assistant coaches. So, with that in mind, wanting to get Florida State back to winning national championships, what percentage of this do you think should be to you? And what percentage of this do you think you should go to the players? Because we've got to get you players too. And we've got to keep Alex Atkins and the like around.
Well, you're not going to be able to keep it. I mean, you can. I mean, Alex.
But you got to make it worth as wild. I mean, you got to
make it hard. Make it
hard for him to leave and be competitive when Auburn tries to come and get him. Whoever they hire, I mean, he's going to be wanted by everybody. You got to be competitive to keep him as your OC and your O-line coach. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what you do. So if you want $7 million, great. How much do we have left? Because you're only hurting yourself, and it's going to be great in the short term for you. But you might be out of a job in 3 years, or 2 years, because we couldn't get you any players, or we couldn't keep the assistants you wanted. So that's how I would negotiate. This is the entire pot we have to pay coaches and players at Florida State University. What percentage of it do you want?
Man, Todd Monken's making $2 million a year at Georgia.
Yeah, to call 3 pass plays in the second half. It's crazy.
I mean,
they scored 16 against Kentucky. They weren't even trying. They threw 1 pass, I think, in the second half against Tennessee. It's just crazy. Hey, man, good for him.
Well, I know we got to go. We'll keep this kind of short. I wonder if, they feel the anxiety or just the history of what happened with Willie, because I don't agree with it, man, but people smarter than me talk about the fact that there was belief that Jimbo, whatever, anybody could have done it because, Bobby did it, Jimbo did it, so we can hire whoever, we'll keep this thing rolling. Which I'm like, there's no way smart people really thought that it was just all Florida State and the spear on the helmet. Like, it wasn't like Jimbo at least was engaged there for a few years and went and recruited really well. But
they could have thought that because they weren't any good before they hired Jimbo. It's not like they were a machine when he got hired. They were barely above 500.
Yeah. So the people that thought that are no longer really around, but maybe there's some folks in some offices that are. I can't imagine them being like, yeah, whatever, we can let him walk, we'll be fine. But at the same time, we can't be held hostage by the fact that this thing was so bad because the coach that was responsible for it just isn't apparently maybe an exceptionally good football coach. he's kind of clinging on to things right now in Boca Raton right now. But I don't know who else is out there that you'd be like, all right, whatever. Well, I mean, you let him walk away because he wants 7.5, and we're only going to go 6.8. Like over the difference of whatever that is, $700,000, you're going to let him walk, and then who's your backup? Like who are you going to go get if he walks away? It would be wild though, man, if he makes like $7.5 million. But Elijah Drinkowitz at Missouri is going to make like $6 million next year.
Yeah, I think Norvell. I mean, I would bump him up probably. What's he at 3.5 now?
No, he's like closer to 5. He started off at 4.
Look that up. But we probably should know that before we answer that. Look it up, Aslan. Look it up. Hey, you're making me do this at midnight. Look it up, buddy.
All right. Found the story back in 2019, December 12th. 6 years, 26.5. The deal escalates each year, culminating with $5 million in salary in each of the final 2 years. So he gets
and the first year was 3.75. So he's probably right around 4 right now. So 6 years, 26.5. I mean, that's not horrible compensation. And you can't go crazy. And it would kind of bother me if Norvell wanted you to go crazy, because he has to know the financial limitations that come with being a head coach in the ACC.
But, man, he knows what he took over and what he's created.
Yeah, you would compensate him. You would compensate him, but, again, don't be so short-sighted. Not you, I'm talking to him. Like, there's only a finite amount of money to spend. Okay, man, we'll give you a $4 million raise. Well, they're going 2 safeties and a defensive end. Thanks, Mike. And, Atkins is going to Auburn now. But, hey, you got your money. Let us know how Memphis is in 9 years when you're the head coach again over there. Like, it just wouldn't make sense. There's a finite amount of money in an ACC school, and you can't be greedy. And you want to get what you're worth, but 1 8 or 9 win regular season, I don't know that you can go and say, hey, man, double my salary because Eli Drinkowitz is making this much money.
Again, man, I don't know. If I knew a guy...
Then he can go to Auburn, I guess. I mean, Lord, you can't keep up with that. You can't play that game with the SEC teams because you're going to lose. You're going to run out of money. You don't have it. They do. They have endless gobs of it. You don't. So you got to be smarter with it. And I think he understands that. Plus, Tallahassee, man, he gets to live in Tallahassee. He gets to deal with us.
I'm saying, like, last thing, real quick. I mean, if he made $7.5 million a year, like, what would your reaction be? You think that'd be crazy?
After one season?
Yeah.
After one winning season?
Yeah.
He just got to 500 in his career at Florida State. He's literally at 500 in his coaching career. And you guys know I'm a big fan of Mike Norvell.
I think he's won over.
I think he's doing a great job. Yeah. He's a 500 coach at Florida State, and you're going to double his salary. You can't. I am so sick of presidents doing this. It is absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense. You are crushing the sport, or you have. You've perverted it to the point where Jimmy Sexton runs the sport because you say yes to every one of his demands. A&M apparently is stuck with a guy because you owe him $86 million. And you were competing with no one. You gave him an extension when nobody wanted him. Missouri gives the guy $7.5 million because what else are they going to do with the money? Got to give it to somebody. All this extra money we're getting for not winning football games, let's give it to the head coach that doesn't win football games. So yeah, he deserves a bump. Jimbo got a bump after 10, I think. Well deserved. He got to 10 wins. It wasn't much of a bump, but it was a bump. And I think give him a 10% raise, Aslan. What about that? Like old school office style. Just give a 10% raise. And next year, if they have another winning season, it's another 10% raise. Yeah, and I mean, I get it. I know the realities. They're going to have to bump it up. He has proven something. But is anybody coming for him right now? Who are you competing with? Do you compete against yourself to give him a raise, even though nobody is after him?
Arizona State, Ole Miss, maybe Auburn. Yeah. I don't know. Auburn's going to probably go after Lane. So
you think he would go after any of those schools? You'd go to Arizona State? You'd leave Florida State for Arizona State for an extra $1.5 million?
No, but are you going to let him? Are you going to call his bluff?
I mean,
because who are you going to get if he leaves? And listen, I don't think Mike Norvell's
You get Alex Atkins is who you get.
All right. That's a good answer.
Alex Atkins.
That's a good answer. If I had a microphone in my hand, I would drop it, but I have a headset around my head, so I don't want to do that. All right. That is a wrap for us. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll have a show for you folks on Friday because, I don't know, that's what we do.
That's how we do. So we're not having one on Thanksgiving, though, because we want you guys to spend time with your families.
Correct. Well said, Corey. Don't forget, War Chant Game Day presented by Zaxby's starts at 4:30, the pregame show. 4 o'clock doors open atop the Hotel Indigo. Come join us for that. There'll be a matchup analysis, War Chant report up on warchant.com on Thursday. So even though it's Thanksgiving and you're carving up, you can still get all the content you want over at warchant.com as well as our YouTube channel. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff. My gosh, almost an hour and a half. Corey, you're the best. He's
Thanks,
Corey.
buddy. I appreciate it.
I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up War Chant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.